Hi everyone and welcome back to Chess for Charity. In this video, I'm going to show you a ridiculous puzzle. This puzzle is insane. I've been analyzing it for the last, half an hour, and it is so crazy. So buckle up. This one is tough. It's white to play and win. So take a second, see if you can find the idea. I doubt you're going to find all the variations in just a couple minutes, but give it a moment. See if you can find what the basic idea is for white and what black is trying to do to defend against it. I'll give you a moment. While you're considering the answer, let me quickly ask you to subscribe if you have not yet already. Half of the income I earn in this channel goes directly to charity, so every like, subscriber helps us out so much. Alright, let's get to it here. I'm excited for this. This puzzle is crazy. So you have this group of pawns here. Wonderful. And this rook can give a lot of checks, but can you win? The answer is yes, but how? So I'm just going to jump right into it. The first move is rook h7. Great. It forces the king to go to g8. Okay, now why is this important? Now, there's one move here that is the killer move. It's g7. Awesome. So what is this doing? This is threatening to play rook h8 mate. That would be great. And if something happens one day, maybe you don't want to play this, maybe something happens where they take, you can promote to a queen, right? So just as an example, if this is played out, they can take, you can promote, and you're going to win the game. They can give up their rook just to get a check, and it's not going to be enough. So that's not what's going to happen in this puzzle, right? And I want to make sure it's really clear what the idea here is. You have two threats here. You're threatening the rook, and you're threatening this rook move mate. So you kind of have two things going. They can't take this rook right now because you'd promote. Keep that in mind. So black has an incredible defensive sequence here. And this is really what the puzzle's all about. So if you think this is the end, trust me, this is just the beginning. So what would happen if black played rook a5, giving up their piece? Right? The idea is they want to get this rook out of danger. So if you take this, all of a sudden you're losing the game. They check you, you move, pick your favorite place to move, they take your rook, and black is now winning. You just threw away the game. They would take here, right? You can't ever do this kind of thing, right? Oops. Right? They would take, collect these pawns, and it's over. This rook is doing all the heavy lifting. So you can't take this rook on a5. That's the point that I'm making. So this defensive resource is amazing. You have to run away. You can't take it. So surprisingly, even the engine is showing this as a draw right now, which is crazy, right? I've analyzed it so long. It's at like a 30 depth, and it's still saying a draw. Now, as I said, it just changed to a win. Jeez. Crazy, crazy. Maybe I can turn the evaluation on. Oh, you can't see that on your screen. So what do you do here as white? Like I just said, you can't take it. Keep that in mind. And you don't want to run away to the c file, because then, if you did, you just let the rook get out of this capture, right? That was the whole thing I was just explaining. You don't want the rook to move. You want to maintain two threats at one time. So what do? You run away. Go up or down. Well, you're going to have to go down eventually. So here, you can take here, but let's just go down to the main line here. If you do this, what's going to happen? Same idea. Rook b8. Look at this. Look at this. And black survives this. So let's go to the main idea. The main idea is I have to get out of these checks. I'm going to go down the board. King b5. Now they're just going to keep checking you, right? Their whole idea is I'm going to check you and check you and check you, and it's going to be a draw. And if you ever take me, I will bring a rook to one of these open files, depending on where you are, and it'll be a draw then, or I'll win. Okay, rook a5. So hopefully you're understanding the strategy of black. They're just trying to sacrifice their rook to get you on this a file. If you're on this a file, they check you, they collect your rook, they win the game. Let's make sure it's really clear. Okay, you play king b4. Okay, they check you. Same exact idea, you can't take. King b3. They check you. King b2. They check you. Now remember, before you couldn't walk on this c file because this rook would check you. Well, you have some pawn shelter on c2, so maybe you can play king c1. And that's actually the correct move. If you play king b1, you could just run back and forth. That would be a draw. You play king c1. Great move. Now, they capture you. And maybe you can see where this is going. Maybe you can imagine I run up the board, I run down the board. Sure, how is that going to end? And if you've already seen the pattern, take a second, see if you can find how this whole thing is going to end. It's complicated, so don't just dismiss it as a simple pattern. King d1. Great. Again, don't take the rook, because that'll be check and you'll lose the game. And they check you again. Rook c1. You go up. And now you're given an option. Check. Do you go up the board or play e1? Think about it. Take an actual second. Think about it. If you go here, they're just going to keep doing what they just did. They're going to check you. You're going to run away, and you're going to be stuck in this little box here. You can run up the board. Let's see. They check you. Run up the board. Just like this. You can never get out of this. Right? You could take here. Great. They keep checking you. Now what? You're going to be stuck here. Hopefully you see the point. Okay. So that original idea, let's go back like 20 moves. You can't just run to e1. So that makes you maybe question what this pawn is doing here. So you have to run up the board. This puzzle's crazy. You go king d3. They check you. Remember, you can never take. If you take, hopefully I've said this enough times. Hopefully it's clear. Sorry if you get it and I'm repeating myself. You can't take because the rook will check you and they'll win. You go up the board. They check you again. You go up the board. They check you again. You can take this pawn. Remember, you couldn't take this pawn on the 7th rank because I showed that variation earlier. But you can take this pawn. And I'll show why in just a minute. They keep checking you. And you have this little dance. You run, check, you run, check. You keep running. And again, you don't want to go on the e file for the same reason I mentioned just a moment ago. This check is going to be devastating. You'll lose the game. King d2. They check you. And only now can you play king e1. Now, what's the difference? What was this pawn doing? We'll talk about that in just a second. So hang tight. They check you. Right? You're giving away all your material. This is crazy. This puzzle is absolutely insane. This is like move 20. King f1. They check you. You run up the board. And what did I say earlier? I said they can just check you on all of these e-file squares, and you're going to be confined to these squares. What can you do? You're about to find out. Buckle in. So, check, you run, check, you keep running. And now, there's a very important difference. Check, you can take. Check, you come back. And now this e5 square is not protected. There's no pawn here. So try to visualize this. There's no pawn protecting this rook. So this is the critical part of the puzzle. If they check you, now, and only now, you can actually get away with taking this. Because you have this king f6 move next. They check you, you play king f6, or sorry, king f5. I just messed it up. King f5, or else you get checked. And now, what do? If you do this, it's mate. So don't play king f6 like I was just had the arrow, because if you do this, they can check you. That buys them time, and then they'll win this rook. So if they were to do this now this is supported. King f6, and now if they play here, you can take this because the king is not protecting it. This puzzle is ridiculous. Are you with me on this? Is this like one of the craziest puzzles you've seen in a while? So just to make sure that's really clear, once you take the rook, great, you take it, they check you, only one move in this position wins. King f5. Let's put an exclamation point on that. So if they take you, you have this king f6 move, and that's going to clear the way to take this pawn, and the g8 square is free. So show that variation. Here, king f6, they can't stop this because you'll take with promotion. They can't get here because you're covering that square. The best they can do is just move. You take, and there's nothing they can do about it. Move here. What do? Check. Get out of here. Queen. If they take it, you take it. This is a winning king upon ending. Pawn d4. g7 works. Look at this. Look at this crazy puzzle. This is amazing. Promote. Look at this. Come on. This is amazing. Queen g6 mate. Look at the one tempo. That's move 37, by the way. Okay. So that's what happened if the king took the rook. What was the other variation? This variation? There's mate in 1. I already showed that. So what do? The king takes h7 is the only real move. They can check you, but it's not going to work this time. Bang. Amazing, amazing puzzle. Give up this square, get this control, win the game. No stalemate. Look at this puzzle. 32 moves of that variation. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. So now you see the idea. You run away like this. You take the pawn. You run back like this. You go up. You take the pawn. And then you eventually take the rook. And you win the game. This puzzle is fantastic. Hopefully you got a chance to actually understand what I was getting at here. I wanted to make it without making it too long. So feel free to give me some feedback if I went too fast. I love this puzzle. It's incredible. And that position at the end is just amazing. I don't know if I could find it anymore. But that ending, yeah, this ending is incredible. This like one game of tempo. It's amazing. Okay, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments. Like the video, subscribe, all that stuff helps us out so much. Thank you for watching. Bye.